Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a while since I chaired a meeting, and they've been in person and very lively. So I'm looking forward to what I think will be a calmer and virtual meeting, and truly look forward to working with all of you on making the park the premier public space that it is and will continue to be. So with that, I also want to thank the staff of the Hudson River Park Trust who's prepared these fine remarks for me, making my life much easier. So I'll try to be full of emotion as I read them, but you all get the idea. All right, good afternoon. With a quorum being present, I now call to order the July 28th meeting of the Hudson River Park Trust Board of Directors. Due to the coronavirus pandemic and consistent with the extension of Executive Order 11 by Governor Hochul that allows for virtual meetings under the Open Meetings Law through August 13th, 2022. This meeting is being held remotely via Zoom teleconference, enabling the general public to listen to the meeting. The meeting is also being recorded and will be posted on the Trust website, and a stenographer is providing a transcript of the meeting. The directors have received the agenda materials in advance of this meeting and are free to ask questions or comment at any time on the action items submitted for approval today. Please note, however, questions or comments from the audience will not be entertained at this meeting. I note that the board memos and resolutions on today's agenda have been posted on the Trust website in the link entitled Board Meeting Bylaws and Other Materials under Board Agendas and Minutes, and thus are available to the public. There are 7 items on the consent agenda. 1, approval of minutes and ratification of the actions taken at the May 19th, 2022 meeting of the Hudson River Park Trust Board of Directors. 2, authorization to amend contract with Call Ahead Corp for portable temporary restroom services. 3, ratification of an extension of a contract with Deborah Bradley Construction and Management Services, Inc. for on-call general contracting services. 4, authorization to extend contract with Deborah Bradley Construction and Management Services, Inc. for Pier 97 shade structure fabrication and installation. 5, authorization to extend contract with Raycon Group LLC for Pier 40 structural restoration work phase 6. And 6, authorization to amend contract with Gilbane Building Company for park-wide construction management services. And 7, appointment and ratification of corporate officers. Unless anyone has any comments, I'll now call for a motion to approve all of the above mentioned consent items.
So moved.
Second.
Couldn't find my button.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
I'm going to be abstaining for DEC for the portion relative to Call Ahead and that contract.
Okay.
And Mira, I'm abstaining from that same one as well on behalf of the Parks Department.
Okay, so this is for the record. The Call Ahead extension does not go forward. So all motions have been approved except the Call Ahead we do not have sufficient number of votes for. So we will not be adding money to that contract.
Okay. The next is corporate action before the board for authorization is authorization to contract with Pioneer Landscaping and Asphalt Paving, Inc. for tennis court reconstructions.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and welcome. The tennis courts at Hudson River Park have been a popular amenity since their original completion in 2004, and their asphalt paving surface is in need of replacement due to heavy use. The restoration work involves removing the paved surface, regrading the site, installing new concrete foundations, and providing new tennis court surfacing and striping and tennis court equipment at each of the 3 courts. The trust released a request for proposals for tennis court reconstruction on January 21st, 2022, and received 5 proposals on the submission deadline of February 25th. A selection committee comprised of trust staff reviewed the submissions and evaluated each according to the identified selection criteria in the RFP. Trust staff has identified Pioneer Landscaping and Asphalt Paving, Inc. as the highest ranked proposer that also offered the lowest fee for the scope of work. Pioneer has completed projects for various agencies throughout the city and state, including for both state and city parks. Given the limited scope of work and subcontracting opportunities, a partial MWBE waiver will be sought from the state, and the trust will prepare a waiver of the 6% SCVOB subcontracting goal. Funding for this contract is available through the capital maintenance portion of the trust annual operating budget and includes substantial contributions from the city council and from the Manhattan Borough President. Trust staff therefore requests board authorization to enter into a contract with Pioneer Landscaping and Asphalt Paving, Inc. for tennis court reconstruction in the amount of $971,450 plus a 10% contingency for a total board authorization amount of up to $1,068,595.
So moved.
And any seconds?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And abstentions? Okay, with that, the motion is approved. The next corporate action before the board is authorization to amend the contract with Alpine Construction and Landscaping for Chelsea Waterside Park Phase 2 site and landscape work.
At its July 2021 meeting, the board authorized the trust to enter into a contract with Alpine Construction and Landscaping Corp. For the Chelsea Waterside Park Phase 2 general construction contract for a total board authorization amount of up to $8,079,309. During Alpine's build out of the site, numerous unanticipated subsurface structures, including remnants of foundation walls, drainage structures, and abandoned utilities related to previous uses at the site have been encountered. Alpine has had to modify installation details of several significant items to account for these subsurface obstructions, resulting in change orders and increased costs. In addition, subsequent to the initial award, fabrication of a small vending kiosk to be located within Chelsea Waterside Park was added to Alpine's scope of work for site construction efficiencies. The trust staff therefore requests board authorization to increase the total board authorization amount by $1 million in order to compensate Alpine for these additional costs. Funding for this contract amendment is available from the trust restricted funds from the sale of transferable development rights within Community Board 4's boundaries and from capital budget funds allocated by New York City through the City Council.
Noreen, they didn't find a graveyard there, did they?
Fortunately, no graveyards, nothing mysterious, just old junk.
Thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, if not, I'll call for a motion to approve the contract amendment with Alpine Construction and Landscaping Corp. For Chelsea Waterside Park Phase 2 site and landscape work.
So moved.
Seconds,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions? Okay, the motion is approved. The last corporate action item before the board is authorization to enter into contracts for park-wide on-call landscape architecture services. So turn it over to Noreen.
Thank you. The trust has identified the need for professional landscape architecture services related to several small and medium scale projects, such as reconstruction of Pier 45's wood deck, Pier 25 safety surface improvements, and planning for additional lighting in certain park locations. Beyond these projects, the consultant would provide landscape architecture and ancillary civil engineering services for modest capital maintenance and other construction projects on an on-call basis. The trust released an RFP for park-wide on-call landscape architecture services directed at New York State certified MWBE firms on June 10th, 2022, and received 2 proposals on the July 13th submission deadline. A selection committee comprised of trust staff reviewed the submissions and evaluated each according to this identified selection criteria in the RFP. The selection committee determined that both proposers, Joanna Pertz Landscape Architecture and Grain Collective Landscape Architecture and Urban Design, proposed favorable hourly rates for the on-call services, and staff believes that contracting with both firms would be in the best interest of the trust because it would allow staff to seek the benefits of competitive pricing, differing experience, and scheduling availability when services are needed. Joanna Pertz has extensive experience providing similar services for NYU Langone Medical Center, New York City Housing Authority, and for the Trust. Rain Collective has similarly completed work at various locations for New York City Housing Authority and the School Construction Authority. The Trust staff thus requests board authorization to enter into 2 contracts, each for a 3-year term, with Joanna Pertz and Grain Collective for an aggregate total board authorization amount of up to $750,000. Funding for these contracts has or would be identified through the capital maintenance portion of the Trust's annual operating budget as approved by the Board of Directors each year.
Are there any questions or comments?
So Noreen, do they bring different skills to the table? I mean, what is it that,
I would say the skill set is different, but in our experience, sometimes, particularly with on-call projects where you don't know exactly when the work is going to be needed or exactly what the project is, particularly when you are hiring smaller firms that don't have hundreds of landscape architects, it's beneficial to have 2 teams that are each qualified, depending on the nature of the project. One might have specific experience that is calling to us, but it might also be the case that they're both equally qualified and we can ask them both for specific pricing and we can choose the one that is cheaper or better qualified.
got it, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? If not, I will call for a motion to authorize the trust to enter into contracts with Joanna Pertz Landscape Architecture and Grain Collective Landscape Architecture and Urban Design for Parkside on-call landscape architecture services.
So moved.
Second,
And
all in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion is approved. Okay, thank you. And that completes board actions for approval today. And now to Noreen Doyle to present the president's report.
Thank you. In some sectors, summer in the city is a quieter season, a time for fewer meetings and time away. Of course, things are different in the parks world. And here at Hudson River Park, every department is in high gear. We're designing, we're building, programming, educating, conducting research, managing tenants, hosting guest events, focusing on public safety, paying a whole lot of bills, and improving our systems. It's hectic and it's fascinating, and sometimes it's stressful. And the trust is incredibly fortunate to have such a talented and committed staff to make it all happen. I think you all know that already, but it's still important to say. And so before beginning my report, I'd like to thank them and certainly all of you for all you do to help us achieve our mission every day of the year. And on the topic of thank yous, I'd like to acknowledge our 2 newest board members, Deputy Mayor Mira Joshi and Michael Pastor, and to welcome you both to the Hudson River Park family. And this seems, now that we're past the formal business of the resolutions, like a good moment to ask you if you would like to introduce yourselves a little bit more fully. Deputy Mayor, you want to start?
Sure, thank you very much. And I can never quite get over the awkwardness of virtual meetings, but this is where we are for now until the moment where you're back in person. But I'm sure we'll always integrate some portion of virtual now because it's so convenient. I'm Mira Joshi. I am Deputy Mayor for Operations. I have the pleasure of having all of the infrastructure agencies under my portfolio, Parks being one of them, and then Hudson River Park Trust and Brooklyn Bridge Battery Park included in that. And I think that's a testament to the fundamental nature of what Hudson River Park Trust provides, which is open public space that's core to New York City's thriving community, individuals who live here, visit Hudson River Park, people from out of town, and the ability to look and see parts of New York that they may not have come across in their normal day-to-day life, and certainly a new vision of New York for those who haven't visited New York in a long time. I come to this position after a long time in city government, working in Department of Investigations, working with Department of Correction, doing police oversight, working in the Taxi and Limousine Commission, then running the Taxi and Limousine Commission, and then some time in federal government, in U.S. Department of Transportation, running the agency that regulates interstate trucking. So I have a wide variety of eclectic government stories and experiences, and I'm really excited to have that colorfulness become even more vibrant, working with all of you and helping tackle some of the issues that you face running such a great public asset, and hopefully being the city partner that I know we have been and can continue to be in making sure that the park is thriving. And thank you to everybody for the service that you provide. This is part of my day job, as it is part of Sue's day job, but for others whose time this is not part of your day job, I especially appreciate time, dedication, and interest.
Thank you so much. I know that that eclectic background that you described will be very handy for us, given the wide range of weird things we deal with. Michael Pastor, would you like to say hello?
I sure would. Thank you, Noreen, and thank you, Chair. So hi, everyone. My name is Michael Pastor. I'm currently at New York Law School, where I direct an institute for the business of law and in-house counsel, and I'm also an adjunct professor here at the school. I'm on campus every day, so about 4 or so blocks from the park where I work. Before I came to New York Law School, I was the city's lead lawyer for all technology and telecommunications matters. I was the general counsel for the city's 2 technology agencies. And I was also the deputy commissioner for legal affairs at that city agency. So I oversaw all of what are called telecommunications franchises, which are the contracts that the city has with telecom providers to run fiber under our street and on our property. Included in that portfolio was the Link NYC program, the free Wi-Fi program we have. Before those jobs, I was at the New York City Law Department for about a decade. I served 5 years in a division that advised the mayor's office and city agencies on legislation and rulemaking. And I also served 5 years arguing appellate cases in state and federal court. During that time, the Parks Department, Department of Transportation, and many other agencies under the deputy mayor's current purview were my clients. So I got to represent a lot of those agencies, including the Parks Department, on many matters and rulemaking. And as I've said to Noreen, and I'll say to you all, I hope that I can draw upon those experiences to help the board and the staff in any way that I can. Lifelong New Yorker, lifelong Mets fan as well, since we started off on that topic. I've lived in New York City for almost a quarter century. I moved here to go to law school at NYU School of Law in the Village. I currently live in the West Village with my wife and 3 kids, and we are power users of the park, in the park every day ×2 sometimes. So it's really fun to be part of this board, helping to help the staff run such a place that is really wonderful and a park we use so much. So thanks again, Noreen.
Thank you, Michael. I've already had Michael on the phone with our IT group and talking about cybersecurity. So we intend to take full advantage of your expertise there. And we're very grateful to have you both and all of you. And we thank Mayor Adams for appointing you both. Okay. In the context of the board, saying hello also means saying some goodbyes, of course. And in this case, former directors Aloysi Heredia-Jarmashuk and Vicky Bean, our former chair. On behalf of the trust, I would like to thank each of them for their commitment and dedication to the park, their availability to staff, and personally for their support of me during the major transitions that have taken place at the trust over the past 1.5 years, including my becoming president. Despite both having incredibly busy day jobs, both always made time for me and the park. And as chair, Vicky in particular was called on frequently by those of us on the management team for her counsel and advice. And we were lucky to have her extraordinary level head and strategic head and compassion during the time of transition. So I know you'll all join me in thanking Aloysi and Vicky for their service to the park as well. Okay, it's time for our design and construction report. And I'm happy to say that we're continuing to make excellent progress at our major construction sites. At Chelsea Waterside Park, we're very focused on completing the new features at the expanded dog run and are still aiming to reopen that section of the park this summer. Work there includes installing granite curbs, walls, new water features, a new shade structure, and tiered seating. The subcontractor for the new comfort station has completed the foundation, subgrade utilities, floor slab, and structural walls, and is presently constructing the building's roof. The athletic field closed for construction as of June 22nd, and field demolition and subgrade work is ongoing. To date, we've been able to accommodate displaced youth field users at other park locations, including the new rooftop field at Pier 40. The site contractor is also installing footings, curbs, walls, and site utilities in the central area where the future picnic area and additional plantings will be located. At the Gansevoort Peninsula, trees have been installed along the 13th Avenue Promenade and the Pine Grove area. The most visible indication that this former sanitation facility will soon be a public park. Stephen Dubner Landscaping continues to install pavers and boardwalk decking throughout the site and to construct the new resilient south edge. Salt marsh construction at the north edge is also underway, and J.R. Cruz has been reconfiguring the Bloomfield Street entrance into the site, among other work. Construction on the new restroom, park maintenance, and concession buildings by Padilla is also proceeding well. Just last week, TrevCon Construction completed installation of several hundred oyster gabions and reef balls seeded with more than 20 million juvenile oysters provided by the Billion Oyster Project in the water area north of the new salt marsh. These enhancement structures are designed to improve the subtidal river ecosystem by offering more habitat variety for river wildlife. Over time, encrusting organisms like oysters and mussels will settle on these features and help provide protective places for local fish populations to hide and feed. These structures will also help protect the Gansevoort Peninsula's northern shoreline by reducing wave energy and storm surge impacts, which in turn will preserve the health of the adjacent salt marsh that's anticipated to be installed later this season. We've been delighted to see this initiative receiving the great press it deserves, and I'd like to acknowledge the creative collaboration that took place between our design and construction and river project departments, along with the design and engineering team for Gansevoort led by James Corner Field Operations to make it happen. This initiative further expands the Trust mission to increase habitat opportunities within the park's estuarine sanctuary. At Pier 97, installation of the shade structures is complete. Concrete foundations for the slide, the overlook slide, and that's our own VP of Design and Construction, Kevin Quinn there testing it out, are complete, and the concrete wall at the perimeter of the synthetic turf field will be poured over the next 2 weeks, weather permitting. The first delivery of granite wall veneers and coping stones has arrived on site and installation has started. The general contractor for the new comfort station has completed demolition and excavation for the building foundation, and drilled caissons will be installed over the next month. Staff from our design and construction departments continues to lead the review of proposals received for the design services RFP issued for the future estuarium. Several directors are participating in the selection process, and interviews with the initial shortlist of design firms will commence soon. While it's an aggressive schedule, especially with summer schedules, we are hoping to bring the selection of the design team to the board for consideration in September. Meanwhile, the trust has released an RFP seeking a construction contractor for the Pier 26 play area based on the design prepared by the Olin Studio. The play equipment will include a 90-foot long Atlantic sturgeon and a 49-foot long short-nosed sturgeon with educationally themed painted interiors, an 18-foot tall eelgrass play structure, slides, climbing nets, and a shrimp and oyster shell play area, among other features. As you know, Hudson River Park Friends completed a successful capital fundraising campaign for this project. With the support of friends, The signature custom play features by Monstrum Playgrounds is now in its final design for fabrication, and we're very grateful to Friends, all of the private donors, and to State Senator Brian Kavanaugh, Borough President Mark Levine, and City Council, especially Council Member Chris Marte and former Speaker Corey Johnson for their support. South of Pier 40, staff continues to coordinate with the construction and development team for 550 Washington Street, AKA the new Google building across from Pier 40, on the phasing and construction plan for the new crosswalk. Subject to that work receiving permits from the state and city departments of transportation, work is expected to start in the park on August 15th and is being closely coordinated with the adjacent tennis court work that the board approved today. In July, the trust provided an update to Community Board 2 to describe the phasing and temporary closure plans for that area of the park. At Pier 40, our marine contractor, Rycon, is returning to complete the phase 4 work and some other marine repair work. And we expect the comprehensive Pier 40 pile repair program to be fully complete in October of this year. Meanwhile, the trust received only one response to the RFP for a contractor to replace the loading dock roof that rings the perimeter of the Pier 40 courtyard field. So pursuant to the trust procurement guidelines, that RFP has failed. The trust is reevaluating the scope and budget for this work and may issue a new RFP for a reduced scope of work sometime in the future. Finally, and as previously reported, Battery Park City Authority is studying installing a barrier system to protect against coastal flooding within Battery Park City, including at its northern end, where the infrastructure would affect portions of the park. Battery Park City Authority has been providing updates to the trust with its design team as planning progresses, and the trust has asked a number of technical questions about aspects of the project that would or could affect Hudson River Park. A portion of the currently contemplated work would occur in the park's water area immediately to the north of Battery Park City, and another portion would traverse the park and then run along the west side of Route 9A Spikeway before crossing the highway near North Moore Street. Information, including PowerPoint presentations, is available on the Battery Park City Authority's website, and the Battery Park City Authority expects to begin the draft scoping process under SECRA this fall. Staff will attend that meeting and can update directors in the fall. I'll pause to see whether there are any questions on design and construction matters.
I just wondered about that Battery Park City plan. How can they just propose something for our park?
Well, they can't just do it. They can propose it, and that's all part of what they're studying. So in order for them to achieve their goal of basically buffering the northern area of Battery Park City, they need to extend offsite, including into 9A, including inland in the city. So all of that requires approvals from others, not just Hudson River Park Trust. And that is all part, presumably, of their environmental review process and has been part of their kind of consultative process with us thus far.
There's no kind of state on state showdown.
I think we need to understand more the answers to various of the questions that we've asked, right? So, for example, the work would install a barrier system along the highway on the eastern side of the bikeway in a portion of the area. In concept, we've seen the concept. They've shared this with us for a long time, over time, but they have a design build process, so they don't have the details of these things yet. So we need to understand things like, could people entering or exiting see each other? Are there new security risks? Are there other things like that? Those are types of questions that we've already flagged that we will need to consider, and the overall public benefit of competing sets of priorities will need to be considered, I think, at the end of the day. Thus far, we certainly understand that they want to pursue this, and we have been putting real time and effort into trying to make sure that we are thinking of all of the things that could affect us on the park side. Our colleagues at state and city DOTs, I know, are doing similar kind of questions. And, you know, I think we all benefit from learning from each other. Did I answer you, Pam?
Yes, yes. Yeah, for now, I'm good.
Yeah,
It's
I think
it's a
we all
wacky
are.
plan. I looked at it, I looked at the plans before they decided to go design build when they originally had, and you know, it's like a 6-foot wall down the middle of the bike path. But of course, that could change, so.
Yeah, I think we all are eager to see what the scenarios are that the design team, build team would recommend. Anyone else, or should I continue with the next phase of the report? I'll continue. The 2022 Hudson River Park event season is at the approximate midway point, and in-person programming continues to be well received and highly attended. Thanks to additional support from Hudson River Park Friends, we've been able to offer more events than during any previous season. Any highlights reel from the first half of the season would certainly include the Hudson River Park Dance Festival. After a 2-year hiatus, guests were dazzled by 2 nights of performances curated by our partner, the Joyce Theater. And I think these photos by our own Max Giuliani give a pretty good sense of just how beautiful those 2 nights were. Our popular participatory dance series, inclusive of dance lessons, has moved to new locations, Pier 76 and Pier 84. And the crowds for Sunset Salsa at Pier 76 came out in droves throughout June. It's been exciting to see the audience for Afro-Caribbean dance at Pier 76 continue to grow as July advances, and we're looking forward to hosting our Bollywood and Bhangra audience at Pier 84 come August. Another new event at Pier 76, Bicycle Skills 101, which is conducted in collaboration with Bike NYC, continues each month at Pier 76 through September. Healthy on the Hudson, sponsored by Lululemon and Hudson River Park Friends, is once again bringing free health and wellness classes to multiple pier locations throughout the park and has been fully booked each night. Hudson River Park is always mindful of safety, and while we chose to cancel a couple of our programs recently due to the heat wave, we somehow knew that our dedicated fitness buffs would show up even when temperatures exceeded 90 degrees, and they did. We are all excited for the return of the Blues Barbecue Festival on August 13th and hosting it at the new and larger venue, Pier 76. As always, the day will feature a fantastic lineup of 5 performers, each showcasing a different version of blues music. And then there's that delicious barbecue. Even for quasi-vegetarians like me, it's delicious. Please let us know if you can come. And if you can't attend Blues Barbecue, you can still listen to free music in the park at either of our other concert series, Jazz at Pier 84, conducted in partnership with the Jazz Foundation of America every Wednesday, and Sunset on the Hudson on Friday nights at Pier 45. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to happen upon one of our pop-up performances taking place throughout the summer at various locations as well. They appear before your eyes before disappearing like a mirage. Our schedule of arts and cultural programming continues to highlight the diversity of people and places in and around the park, bringing in new performers and styles to different locations. A complete listing with dates and times is on our website at hudsonriverpark.org/events. Not to be outdone, the Trust River Project is also having a very successful summer, both in and out of the water. Recently, the Trust began a 5-year research project entailing monitoring performance of the features installed as part of the Tribeca Habitat Enhancement Project. AKRF is the master consultant, and Rutgers University, Monmouth University, University of New Hampshire, New Jersey City University, Hudson River Foundation, and Billion Oyster Project are all sub-consultants. We're grateful to New York State DEC for identifying the funding for this important 5-year study. The monitoring focuses on 4 research areas, including oyster health and performance, estuarine community utilization, enhancement feature performance, and water and sediment properties. In July, we launched the Mobile Species Survey through Rutgers University and are checking traps to understand finfish population dynamics. We also surveyed the reef balls and gabion structures with the Hudson River Foundation And we're incredibly pleased to see that the oysters had grown about 2 inches in the last year. We will survey the habitat features again in the fall and plan to report on the first season of monitoring this winter. The trust has also begun a survey of park users that we are able to conduct thanks to funding from the City Council. In-person surveys are being conducted through a consultant team led by HDR, which also has developed an online questionnaire for park users that's being promoted through temporary banners and signage throughout the park, targeted emails, and social media. We hope to learn more about our audience and the ways that people use the park through this process. The Pier 40 Wet Lab continues to be a popular destination for free public tours of our research estuarium, with open hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 6 p.m. and Sundays from 11 to 3. Staff reports that they're getting to see repeat customers and a growing audience as the summer progresses. Earlier this week, we hosted our popular Ask a Scientist series at the Wet Lab, conducted this year in partnership with the Secret Science Club and Nerd Night. During these programs, local STEM experts give humorous yet informative talks about our local waterways. And I can assure you that you haven't lived until you've heard an oyster toadfish croaking. I heard one this past week at Nerd Night, our Secret Science Club. For the first time since 2019, we've brought back our ever popular big city fishing, which gives anglers of all abilities the chance to go catch and release fishing alongside our environmental educators to learn more about the river and what lives in it. Kids and adults alike are enjoying catching and learning about species like black sea bass, summer flounder, and sea robins. We've also expanded our park tour program series this summer, incorporating walking tours conducted by local experts with a focus on local wildlife, shoreline ecology, sustainability, climate justice, and historic vessels. This fall, there's still more to enjoy with our Submerged Marine Science Festival back in person for a 2-day event on October 14th and 15th. Event information can be found on our website with further details on all of our programs. Our River Project team has also welcomed a team of 18 interns to support research and educational initiatives happening throughout the park. These paid internship programs teach valuable green job skills and help create career stepping stones for students and recent graduates in the environmental field. The Student Leadership Program is a research and intensive initiative where 8 high school students recruited from the Intrepid's Goals for Girls program and the Young Women's Leadership School of Harlem are mentored by 2 CUNY City College interns. During this program, students conduct authentic science research, create a research poster, and practice valuable science communication skills. Through a separate internship program, the River Project hosts 8 additional undergraduate students and recent graduates hired to focus on research or environmental education. These staff help maintain the wet lab, collect data for ongoing research projects, and conduct programming for summer camps and members of the public. Are there any questions on public programs or River Project programming? Okay. Trust staff has also shared the financials for the first 3 months of this fiscal year with the directors. Total operating revenue for the first quarter was 10 million, and total expenses, including net capital maintenance and equipment, were 5.3 million. Expenses reflect normal seasonal spending patterns and are expected to increase per the planned budget. And finally, for a change of pace, today I have asked a few staff members who don't get a lot of camera time at our meetings to introduce themselves and to give you and the public a bit of insight into the work they do to help keep the park looking great and operating safely. I'm going to ask Rob Rodriguez, who's our Executive Vice President of Park Management, to get us started. Rob?
Thank you, Noreen. Good afternoon, directors. Again, Rob Rodriguez, I'm the EVP for Park Management. Our team leads and I will give you an overview of what we do at the Trust. Before we jump into the deck, though, let me quickly introduce our team leads. Matt Post, our Senior Director of Horticulture and Maintenance. Matt, can you say hello?
Hello.
All right, so he pops
Matt
up
Post.
on the screen. Christina Singh, our Director of Operations. Oh, there's Christina. You're muted, Christina.
Sorry about that. Hi, everyone.
Dwayne Cremona, our Senior Director of Facilities.
Hello, everyone.
And we have Chris McGann, our Senior Director of Public Safety.
Hello, everyone.
All right. Let me just share my screen real quick. Somebody confirm that you're seeing that?
We are seeing it.
Very good. So I appreciate the opportunity to present to you the tremendous work that our park management teams deliver to the visiting public on behalf of the trust each day. Here's some of our team members in the flesh there. Weren't able to get everybody's photo, but we tried our best to get as many folks as possible. Couple of highlights for you: the trust's 3 third-party service providers, that is DoFund, the Industries for the Disabled, also known as FedCap, and Parks Enforcement Patrol, are managed through our teams, and therefore you will hear references to these service providers. Yeah, you also hear about some of the different software systems that we use to organize our work, including a program called Cartograph, which is a computerized maintenance management system. And another is Janitorial Manager, which is a janitorial task tracking system. Please know that our teams are responsible for a multitude of assets and systems, but our focus is principally the same, and that is to maintain a safe and accessible park for all to enjoy. And to deliver on this takes significant coordination and teamwork and professionalism. So, to start us off, we have Matt Post, who serves as our Senior Director of Horticulture, and he will describe the work of our Hort team. Matt?
Hello, everybody. Like Rob said, my name is Matt Post, and I'm the Senior Director of Horticulture and Maintenance for the park. I started with the trust in 2010 as the Director of Horticulture and was promoted to Senior Director position in July 2020. Being here for so long, I've had the benefit of being part of the growth and development of the park over the years and be part of the transformation of this incredible waterfront park. The horticulture team now consists of 10 full-time employees and 10 seasonal employees. Peter Kelly leads our team as the Director of Horticulture. Peter has been with the trust for almost 2 decades and is also a landscape architect. We practice his own management approach for horticulture maintenance, through which individual horticulture technicians are assigned to specific geographic areas of the park to manage. This approach allows for technicians to have intimate knowledge of a specific area, inspect the facilities every morning, and report any issues that need attention by other team members. They manage the space through the changing seasons and therefore can plan accordingly and respond to challenging conditions. We also have a team member that manages our composting facility. The community compost program, which started in 2017, has been a tremendous success and provides a continuous renewable resource that is fed right back into our garden beds park-wide. So far in 2022, we have collected and processed 73,000 pounds of food scraps from the community. This year, we installed a new and larger capacity composter that allows us to keep up with the growing demand. The new composter was funded through a partnership through New York State and the Rochester Institute of Technology. We take every opportunity to educate school groups and community members about the composting program by hosting tours and workshops. Just last week, I gave a tour to the colleagues from Battery Park City. Additionally, the horticulture team collaborates with the Trust environmental and education team to collect data from our composting system and the park's trees to better understand the park's overall sustainability impact and ecological health.
Okay, thank you very much, Matt, for that overview of our team.
Let's talk about the volunteer program.
Sure, yeah.
So over the years, the volunteer program has grown due to this popularity of the program. We have a staff member dedicated to working with our colleagues from Friends of Hudson River Park in managing the volunteers throughout the year. So far this year, we have hosted close to 1,000 individual volunteers through these programs. We are delighted to say this is on par with our pre-pandemic numbers. In fall of 2021, with the help of friends and volunteer groups, we were able to plant over 40,500 bulbs, mostly tulips, throughout the park. We all benefited from this past spring when flowers bloomed. We witnessed people all over the park taking pictures and admiring the flowers. Specifically, Pier 45 was the hot spot. During the winter season, the horticulture team continues to be busy as we focus our attention on maintaining equipment, winterizing irrigation lines, pruning trees and shrubs, securing sensitive plants, training, and of course, lots of snow removal.
Thank you, Matt. I do recall the crowds in the spring posing in front of our garden beds, taking photos every day for quite a while. It was a beautiful spring for our flowers. You'll notice on the screen on the bottom right, the green monster there is the new compost machine that we received this past spring, and we're able to install, and it's in full swing. So thank you, Matt. Clearly, the horticulture team is responsible for maintaining the softscapes of the park, whereas our maintenance team is responsible for caring for our hardscapes. And Matt Post has the added responsibility here at the Trust for managing our maintenance team as well. So hopefully he got a sip of water, because you're up again, Matt.
So the maintenance team consists of 5 full-time employees, and they are led by Kemraj Mangro, who has been employed with the Trust for over 20 years. The maintenance team seems small, but through this small team, we manage to support 2 of the third-party service providers, the Doe Fund and FedCap. In addition to this, the maintenance team is responsible for power washing the dog runs, removing graffiti, making minor repairs, painting, securing facilities, installing signage, and again, removing the snow. FedCap is an organization that has provided vocational opportunities to people with disabilities for over 80 years. The Trust has contracted with FedCap for janitorial services since 2014. FedCap provides up to 6 people and provides janitorial cleaning of all our interior spaces, including restrooms, offices, common areas, and indoor public facilities. Public restrooms are cleaned multiple times a day. Although a dirty job, the FedCap staff bring a positive attitude to work every day. And Doe Fund provides about 20 employees each day spread over 2 shifts and performs outdoor trash removal, painting, sign installation, cleaning of pavement and athletic fields, and supports special events and programming. Doe Fund also assists with cleaning graffiti and removing snow. All trash is collected multiple times a day in the park and transported to our waste container at Pier 40. As indicated on the chart, over the last 2 years, June has produced the most amount of trash. The Trust is very proud to be working with Doe Fund for over 20 years. As an organization, Doe Fund has led the charge for decades against homelessness and recidivism by providing economic opportunity, housing, career training, and supporting services to homeless and the formerly incarcerated. Over the years, I am pleased to say graduates of the Doe Fund have come to work for the Trust directly as full-time and seasonal employees.
Thank you, Matt. The everyday maintenance work at the park is certainly difficult. The team rises to that challenge every day. You know, I am grateful of the relationship we have built with organizations like FedCap and Doe Fund, not only for the good work that they perform at the park, but also because of their missions in employing folks that are historically marginalized in our society for good employment. And those relationships have served as a pipeline for us for potential permanent employees here at the Trust. So it's certainly a positive work that we do there. Up next is operations. There's very little that happens at the park that operations is not aware of and involved in. And Christina Singh, our Director of Operations, leads our small but mighty team. Take it away, Christina.
Good evening, directors. Hope you are all doing well. My name is Christina Singh, and I joined the trust in 2020 as the Director of Operations. Our team consists of 4 people: myself, Yahaira Delgado, Nicole Steele, and soon to be a new operations manager. Our operations department is very unique. Our work is intertwined with the other park management teams, and we spearhead various initiatives to assist with organizing and streamlining work processes. A lot of our daily tasks are unplanned for, as we typically are in a position to react to any of the ongoings taking place in the park on a daily basis. I often joke with my team that we never have an uninterrupted moment during a typical day, as our main goal is to offer support in all categories of maintaining a very busy park. We provide logistics support for park development, capital improvements, and special events. One of the biggest events operations plans for each year is Pride Weekend. This event is a huge team effort involving our internal teams and support staff, as well as external agencies such as NYPD. Some of our Pride Weekend to-dos include coordinating barricade and trash can deployment, contacting vendors for outside services, and ensuring we are maintaining clear checklists and goals with our maintenance, facilities, and public safety teams to ensure everything is in good order. We also maintain relations with other government agencies such as state and city departments of transportation, Port Authority, et cetera, and coordinate with them directly on projects that affect Hudson River Park, such as upkeeping safe bikeway pavement conditions and ensuring all bikeway light poles and traffic light signals are operable. The operations team routinely inspects assets and reports conditions that need to be addressed through the Cartograph software, which also allows us to ensure issues are communicated directly with relevant parties. We coordinate plans and schedules amongst the different teams at the trust so that they can each accomplish their work with little interference. One quick example of this is ensuring that our programs and events team has the green light to move forward with an event such as the Food and Wine Festival or the upcoming Blues Barbecue Festival, and ensuring that events don't interfere with any of the other ongoing projects other departments are dealing with. When it comes to special projects, the operations team generates ideas with a focus on improving efficiency and effectiveness, such as installing new reflective decals on all of our trust's vehicles, which was done a year ago. This was a fun project for all of us, and we were able to successfully install reflective park logo decals and fleet numbers on over 150 of our vehicles and equipment. We most recently implemented Janitorial Manager, which is a QR code system designed to track interior janitorial cleaning tasks, such as the cleaning of public restrooms and facilities, as well as communal spaces within Pier 40. Since its implementation in April of 2022, we have logged over 3,000 hours of cleaning. The system has allowed us to identify areas that need improvement and to monitor the daily tasks of the staff in order to provide better service to the public. Overall, as a department, our goal is to guarantee we are effectively coordinating and communicating across the board to all of our teams and ensure we are providing a safe space for our staff and visitors alike.
Thank you, Christina. You know, there's a lot there, but we've only scratched the surface of the full depth of operations here at the Trust, I think. Christina's team wears many hats, like she mentioned, an inspector of facilities. I think of them sometimes as a traffic controller of information and calendars, a logistician for supplies and plans, a coordinator with other agencies, and many times serving as an unofficial organizational effectiveness officer for us, always looking for ways to improve our internal working systems. Very much appreciate the work they do. Next up is Mr. Dwayne Cremona, our Senior Director of Facilities. Dwayne started with the Trust in 2007 and worked his way up through the ranks. He became the Senior Director of Facilities in 2021. Dwayne?
Hello, directors. My name is Dwayne Cremona. I'm the Senior Director of Facilities here at the Trust. Facilities consist of 3 teams with a total of 13 members, including myself. The other members are Director of Facilities Venu Bechu, who is a welder by trade and has been with the Trust since 2012, and Administrative Assistant tradesmen, specialists, mechanics, and a dockmaster. The team maintains and repairs parks, infrastructure, buildings, athletic fields, motor pool, and marine assets. Our facilities team is responsible for the routine maintenance, inspection, and emergency repairs of our systems. This includes all utilities, construction trades, such as HVAC, plumbing, electrical, masonry, metalwork, carpentry, and general construction. In addition, one of our team members specializes in athletic fields and playgrounds. He is responsible for the inspection and maintenance of our fields, making sure they're safe by scheduling routine maintenance, repairing equipment, striping the fields, and working with contractors on larger repairs. Our Marine Division oversees and maintains the trust docks, gangways, and waterfront assets, which includes but is not limited to railings, signs, lighting, and moorings throughout the park. The motor pool mechanics maintain and repair the trusted entire fleet of vehicles, equipment, and machinery, which is well over 170 pieces of equipment that are all used by the trust staff on a daily basis. One of our highlighted projects this year is the mini golf's waterfall and display fountain at Pier 25. In 2017, there were multiple underground breaks on the water line for the mini golf's western waterfall and display ring, which led to talks of either digging it up to repair it or to turn it into a plant bed. Facilities was able to do some modifications to get the waterfall working and allow it to partially operate that year. In the spring of this year, we were tasked to see if we could get the ring and the filtration system going as well. Through some hard work, dedication, and a little free thinking, we were able to come up with a workaround, and we're glad to say that both the mini golf fountains are currently back in normal operation for everyone to enjoy. And we did it without having to dig it all up, and which would have disturbed the mini golf's day-to-day operation, and it saved a lot of money in the process.
Thank you, Dwayne. You know, in many cases, our facilities team are miracle workers. I think everyone can relate to a disruption in your home when something fails, such as a leaking pipe, a broken appliance, or not having hot water. It's usually a big emergency for any family. You become stressed, you try to find the right repair person who can do the right work right away and obviously do it well. And as you can imagine, the Hudson River Park family is very large with all of our employees, visitors, tenants, the tenants' employees, customers. So therefore, any disruptions when things fail are felt by many. But our facilities team are pros. They respond quickly to address emergency situations. In many cases, like the water feature at the mini golf at Pier 25, the team re-engineered and partially reconstructed a water system and without disturbing the daily operations of the mini golf operator. So hats off to them and the good work that they do. Very much appreciated. So next up, we have our Public Safety Director, Chris McGann.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris McGann, the Senior Director of Public Safety at Hudson River Park Trust. I'm still fairly new here. I started in October 2021 after many years with the NYPD. Basically, the Public Safety Department is responsible for ensuring the safety of the park, patrons, tenants, customers, and employees while in the park, and ensuring the overall security of the park and protection of park assets. This is primarily accomplished through the management of a contract with New York City Parks Department for a staff of PEP personnel, by ensuring that the necessary personnel and equipment are available and properly deployed, and by liaising with city and state agencies to coordinate emergency responses and to enhance public safety. Hudson River Park maintains an operations desk that is staffed by PEP personnel 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The operations desk serves as a dispatcher to both PEP and HRPT personnel. The operations desk also serves as an information hub and is responsible for real-time notifications to Hudson River Park Trust on a myriad of issues. Because of the operations desk, by the time I and the rest of the park management team arrive at work each day, we were already aware of the events and activities that happened the night before or after we left and are able to hit the ground running each day. If a major incident happens in the park, the operations desk staff will notify me and the Hudson River Park Trust staff by phone or email, allowing us to ensure that any necessary actions are implemented or put in motion in a timely manner. While the park remains safe and largely managed to avoid some of the increases in crime that the city and the surrounding precincts have experienced, as I'm sure many of you are aware, we have had 2 horrible crimes that occurred in the park this year. The first was a robbery and sexual assault that occurred at Pier 46 in the early morning of March 27, 2022. The second was a murder that occurred at 3 a.m. on July 5th on the Esplanade near 11th Street. In both of these cases, we worked closely with the NYPD and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. We were able to provide them with video footage from our cameras that was used to quickly create wanted flyers and ultimately helped with the positive identification of both perpetrators and the arrest of the person wanted for the murder. The person wanted for the robbery sexual assault has been positively identified, but is still unapprehended at this time. I speak to the detective on that regularly, and they're actively searching for him now. Public safety in the park is a cooperative effort, and I work closely with our many partners. I work with the Hudson River Park Advisory Council Safety Committee on issues ranging from water safety to crime prevention to the distribution of crime information, such as the aforementioned wanted flyers. I also meet regularly with representatives from NYPD from the surrounding precincts, including the community affairs officers, the NCOs, the crime prevention officers. I participate in their Build the Block meetings. I also participate in interagency meetings, planning for events such as Fleet Week, Pride, Halloween. I meet regularly with our tenants and permittees to discuss public safety concerns and strategies. I also meet with and engage with park patrons and discuss their concerns and suggestions. And while I do enjoy meeting and engaging with all of our many partners, unfortunately, if something bad happens in the park, I am also the one you have to speak to. Luckily, that is very infrequent. Like I said, I'm new here at the park and I look forward to, I'm really enjoying it, look forward to a long career here. I thank you all. And I look forward to working with you on improving safety in the park.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Matt, Christina, Dwayne, for sharing. There's, here at Pier 40, we're all very close together in our offices, and so we're practically tripping over each other. But that's a very good thing because there's a lot of overlap between our departments, and it's necessary in order to deliver for the public every day. And it's work that I personally love. I know these guys do because I get to see how they interact with their teams and with the public every day. And we're very proud of the work that we do, and we very much look forward to it every day. So with that, I just want to thank you, directors, for allowing us the opportunity to present to you. I would be happy to take any questions, and I'll turn it back to Noreen.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Dwayne, Matt, Christina, Chris, for agreeing to do this today. I think it's incredibly important to help people understand the many, many, many sides of the park. Here at these board meetings, we're often focused on approving contracts and talking about specific programs or activities that are happening in a specific period of time. But these are the things that happen every day, all year long. And I hope and trust that you have a better sense of how incredible our team is now. Each of these people has incredible people under them as well. And we're really very fortunate here. So unless anyone has any questions, I know we've gone on for a while, but I think it was worth it. That includes our president's report.
Yeah, thanks. That was great. It
Thank
is
you very
good
much.
to see all that.
An incredible amount of work. So appreciate getting to know exactly who's responsible for all of it. Okay. I'm going to get back to my script, which is, I think we are up to executive session. Is that right, Noreen?
No, I
Daniel
think we
Miller,
have-
Daniel Miller.
Daniel Miller, I'm sorry,
Advisory
thank you.
Council.
I will now ask Daniel Miller to present on behalf of the advisory council.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and welcome to Hudson River Park Trust. Look forward to working with you and working with Michael as well. For those who don't know me, my name is Daniel Miller. I represent Community Board 2. I'm serving my third term as Hudson River Park Advisory Council Chair, non-consecutive terms, and I'm very proud of the work that Hudson River Park is doing. And I'm also proud of the Yankees, even though they lost a couple of games last couple of days. My last meeting was held on June 7th. And it was a pretty light meeting. We got a wet lab tour. We got to learn all about the wonderful wildlife in the education center and how important it is to keep the Hudson River clean, to keep that pollution down. And it's a joint focus of both the Hudson River Park Advisory Council and the Trust. So we look forward to keeping that relationship and that focus going. We moved on to the Village Community Boathouse, and we listened to an application by a new member. We had one vacancy. Hector Vasquez represented Fulton Houses, which is a public housing unit, and they were unanimously approved as a new member to the Advisory Council. We hope that you ratify that selection at your next meeting. Busy and safety. And is all about success of the park. It's very busy, and safety is just a constant focus of the Hudson River Park Advisory Council. I want to note that Chris McCann has been amazing as a partner. He's come to all of our meetings. He spent a lot of time with us, as Noreen and Robert Atterbury, who've been great communicators. But that doesn't mean we don't have a lot of issues that we still have to look at. We've been asked, all the community boards have asked for longer signaling so pedestrians have time to cross West Street. We've all spoke about the dangerous conditions of the pathway, the greenway, how you have more e-bikes now and delivery bikes than you actually have children riding bikes. So I fear for those children who are taking that bike 101 lessons, because there's no place for them to ride. There really isn't. And one of the things that you'll see coming up in the near future is alternatives to finding another way for e-bikes to actually do what they have to do, deliver their cargo without interrupting the greenway. And I hope we get Hudson River Parks Trust support, because I know that sometimes it's difficult to negotiate with state DOT. So we're looking forward to that cooperation. Finally, the AC has written a number of letters to the past chair, Vicky Bean, and I'm hoping that those letters on safety and other things, including our disappointment that Chelsea Pier's lease was finalized without safety concerns for cyclists, which might be mitigated by new studies that might be happening on West Street. I'm hoping that those letters have been forwarded, letters that talk about the safety for cyclists, safety in the water for human-powered boaters, clean water, clean lanes, slower motor traffic, and ultimately safety for park goers on the whole. I appreciate the better communication that we received from Chris and from Robert and from Noreen about assaults and different crimes that happen. And we hope that the trust continues to see us as partners, so that we can also communicate and get the word out and alert folks when there are issues. So I look forward to a continually great relationship with Noreen and Robert, and getting to know you too, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. And I look forward to getting to know you as well. Now we'll ask Connie Fishman to present on behalf of Hudson River Park Friends.
Hi, let me get off mute. Good afternoon, thank you. And I want to welcome the new trust board members. I had the pleasure recently of meeting Michael Pastor, and I very much look forward to meeting you as well, Deputy Mayor Joshi. For new members who are less familiar with Friends, our main annual campaign called HRPK 550, Care for Every Acre, focuses on fundraising for the park's river project and all their education and research programs, composting, plastics reduction, landscape and garden maintenance, free public cultural events and performing arts, volunteering, environmental stewardship, community advocacy, and dog run and playground maintenance. Last Thursday, Friends held its second annual Summer Hamptons event with our playground committee. This is less of a fundraiser than a cultivation event to recruit more committee members for the upcoming year. It was attended by about 100 people in the backyard of one of our committee's co-presidents and gave us the opportunity to meet many new potential members. Our volunteer program, as Matt Post said, has been busier than ever this season. There are a lot of companies that weren't willing to hold group employee events in 2020 or 2021, even outdoors. And so there's pent-up demand among the local corporations for employee engagement and community service activities. And also we're aware that these are things that they are doing more often now as a way of encouraging people to return to work at the office. We've had more than 1,000 volunteers already this season. We think by the end of 2022, the volunteer activities will likely break our previous record of 2,200 in 2019. And our volunteer event season runs through the fall and generally stops around the first or second week of December. We're now working on the October 13th gala. Our honorees are Hudson Yards, Questlove, and we have a special chairs leadership award for Mike Novogratz, who stepped down this past January as our board chair. We've also secured Mavis Staples for our performance and Michelle Collins as our host. We've sold about half of our tickets already, and we have a revenue goal this year of just over $2.5 million. We're working with the chair of our board's communications committee, Jen Cohan, who was formerly the head of the Edelman Public Relations firm in New York. She's leading a group of friends and trust staff through a strategic communications planning process for implementation next year to correspond with the 25th anniversary of the Hudson River Park Act. And we'll be looking for fundraising opportunities later this year to help finance a PR and marketing campaign to implement in 2023. Also in the communications area, we're working on the Bloomberg Connect smartphone app, which provides an opportunity for a museum-style guide for the park that's funded entirely by Bloomberg Philanthropies. And that includes ongoing tech support and a marketing campaign to promote the app both digitally as well as in the park itself. And finally, we are getting ready to hire a major gifts officer for the first time, which will give us somebody who is dedicated to the research and cultivation needed to bring in new major gifts and to work with our existing donors to upgrade their giving levels. Please let me know if there are any questions. And again, welcome. It's great to meet the new board members. No questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And the upcoming gala sounds like it will already be a success. So is there any further business? No, I see Noreen shaking her head. If not, I now request that the directors move into executive session to discuss pending real estate transaction and litigation matters, and that we adjourn the public portion of the meeting. May I please have a motion to move into executive session and adjourn the public portion of today's meeting? The executive session will not include any action items for approval by the directors.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion is approved. Thank you. The trust will now stop the Zoom recording.